Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm a hustler, baby. I'm a hustler, baby. I know heartbreaks, setbacks, bitch if I crap out, I'm sure I'ma get back. I've been through the ups and downs, you know I get around, so to me, it's all a part of the game. Make money, make money. When shit hit the fan, we'll take money. Southside. Welcome back. Come on in. Hope you got a little something in your cup ready to recap about that good Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Season 4, Episode 5, entitled The Nail That Sticks Up. I am your humble and most honorable host, Real. And this episode is brought to you by that good Chianti. That Chianti Classico. That's right, I'm on that bouge tonight. You know, we can sip a little wine, work things out. We can work things out. Babe, you won't be under any kind of pressure. Yeah. I'm on that Teddy P tonight, you know. Let's get down to some brass tacks, shall we?
House music.
So we finally get the answer of what the happened to Famous. Like, where in the world was Famous Santiago? We gonna get into that. Like, was he on that Nori? You know, on the run eating. Down in somebody's basement, back room, moving from shorty to shorty. Moving from shorty to shorty, town to town, you know. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Making babies, then making tracks. Y'all don't know what the I'm talking about. Some of y'all do. Was he violated? Maybe super violated. We don't know. What we do know is Famous and his family at one point was going through it, as some of the best of us do. Those trials, you know, those tribulations. Shit, we start this episode off with some ass whoopings, don't we? Everybody was getting their ass whipped up in Famous spot. Famous, his mama, Luis, whoever the hell Luis was. Does anybody know? I don't think it was ever made clear who the Luis was. Ain't say if that was Famous's pops or his mom's boyfriend, nothing like that in the credits. You know, like all Famous peeps, last name was Figueroa. Luis' ass was just Luis. Brother ain't have no name. What he did have, by the time Olga got finished with his ass, was a massive headache Probably a dent up in that piece to match. And a leaky ass gut. You know, they start off with a little backstory about Famous, you know. Looked like Famous was being accused of taking Luis money. You know, Famous and his mom and his sister was staying with this cat named Luis, at least for the night. Luis wasn't having none of that shit, none of his money missing. Ain't like the fact that his little $2 wasn't on the nightstand where he thought he left it. Got to whooping some ass. Famous ass. He was beating on Famous, kicking him and he was beating Famous ass like he ain't no Famous. A young 8 or 9-year-old Famous. Famous mom Olga took that good skillet to Luis' head, didn't she? She hit Luis' ass with that Martina Navratilova. Backhand smashed his ass. Smashed the shit out that big ass head. She hit his ass like she was badminton champ at the Y in 1982 and shit, you know, and he just fucked around and found out. All I got to say is he better be lucky it wasn't morning. It wasn't a pot. And that pot ain't have some hot grits up in there. He better be lucky it wasn't a pot with some hot ass grits up in that piece. You know, somebody going up somebody's head is one thing. But that hot pot of grits assault, that's something different. That's some different shit right there. He lucky it wasn't that. Nonetheless, that night, Olga was the champion, my friend. Her ass kept on fighting till the end. At one point, caught Luis' ass in the side with a damn steak cutter. Like a Wu-Tang. Olga Figueroa ain't nothing to with.
Wu-Tang!
Shorty kept a weapon on her ass every time Luis put a hand or a toe on the baby, you know. Blow! Caught one. You would have thought he learned a lesson the first time he put hands and feet on Famous, you know. That the baby was off limits. No, no, no. That mofo wasn't learning no lessons that night. Olga little ass was handling old player Luis. And from all of that, even if it was just that one time, it was now apparent that they had to bounce, you know, had to flee Luis. That shit Luis was putting down was unacceptable on all fronts. And they pieced up out the spot, wound up in a shelter. Shit was f***ed up, you know, but that was Famous's backstory. Olga was on that Pete Rock and CL Smooth this whole episode, wasn't she? Olga was on that Troy. When they reminisce over you, my God. Y'all know what the f*** I'm talking about. She up in Detective Garcia's office, trying to get help. This mofo Garcia painting Famous as a fugitive of justice and shit, you know. Got Famous on that nori and all of that. Starts pointing a finger at his ass and Kanan ass. He like between the two of them, you know, they know what the is going down. Olga like, goddamn, can't even get no help from the popo at the popo station. You helping me or you hunting him? She piece up out of there. Haven't gotten no help from goddamn Garcia. At some point gets a rap with Juke and Kanan. She got the finger pointed at Kanan kinda, you know, cause of that dumb Garcia done put in her head. She like, just tell me what you know, you know. They tell her Garcia a damn lie, and that he don't know shit. Then they confirm to her that they miss him just as much as she does. And they also want to know what happened to Famous. Just then Kanan get a call, and him and Juke piece up out of there. Kanan and Juke make their way over to Grandma's, because that call they got while they was over at Olga's was Grandma Thomas. Turns out she done fell and couldn't get the hell back up. Had Juke and Kanan on that original Life Alert plan, the one where you call somebody you actually know versus somebody you don't, Help, I fallen and I can't get up. She like, shit, I ain't calling some random mofo at a call center. No. I'm calling the grandbabies. She must have kept a phone on the floor for such emergencies. I guess Grandma Thomas just smart like that. They get Grandma off the floor. She tell him she don't know what happened. She like, all I know is I was about to make me an omelet and watch me some Judy, Next thing she knew, her ass was on the floor. Juke about to call an ambulance and all of that. Grandma Joyce like, who gonna pay for that? Not my ass. Don't take me to the hospital. Take me to my damn room. But that ambulance gets called and they take her to the hospital, Turns out the cancer is moving fast and having effects on her day to day. Lou and Marvin make their way up there to the hospital at some point. Grandma Joyce propositions Marvin to hit her with that extra morphine, that unauthorized dose. Told his ass she done already got that Crossroads cocktail mixed and ready to go. Asked for that permanent sleep, that mercy sleep. Ooh, child, that's an ask for your ass. That's a lot to put on your baby. Ask him to end the pain. He can't do it. At some point, they get Mama Thomas home. Got her on that home nursing care, recommended by the doctor. She got the morphine needle on the tray, waiting on the first merciful person to oblige her ask. Marvin come up in there, get to looking at it, realizes he can't do it. Mama Thomas was sleeping, but woke up and caught Marvin fiddling with the idea. He catches her catching him on the struggle bus with it, Tells her he's sorry, but he can't do it. She confirms his sorriness, in a curt, hurtful way. Tells him get the hell out of her damn sight. Gets to berating his ass. No, it wasn't her trying to get him mad enough to do it. That was just her way, apparently. He pieced up out of there. At some point, we catch Marvin talking to Rock over at Rock Crib. He tells her none of they spots got product, 'cause Terry ain't shipping they shit in the containers. Terry was pretty clear that he ain't want to be in business with him no more. Rock tell Marvin that Andre got put down, and they drink a little sip in the name of Andre. Shit, I'm gonna have a little sip in the name of Andre. And they step out and pay a little visit to Terry and David, But there wasn't no Terry, just David. David was looking high as hell. This mofo was on one. And not understanding the seriousness of the matter at hand. How the AKAs say it, this is a serious matter. They ask him where Terry at. He tell him he don't know. But he was real chill and jovial with it, like they was there for a friendly chat. He like, how can I be helpful? Like this mofo worked at a Chick-fil-A drive-thru or some shit. They like, okay, let's be more specific. Why the ain't our dope moving to our spots like they supposed to? This mofo David, he like, I can understand how that can be frustrating. I apologize. This mofo was just cooling like Levert. This mofo was just cooling like he had just bust 8 nuts today. And is just good and goddamn done. Not a care in the world. Put the pill on his tongue and all of that. Ain't nobody gonna up. David's in, you know. His day is going absolutely fabulous. But up his zen they do. Cause the Thomases wasn't feeling his lackadaisical, nonchalant approach to answering they goddamn questions. Marvin went up, went back, came down and slapped David with the hand of God. He backhanded the shit out of his ass. Sounded like he slapped a tooth straight in David's mouth. And put that 5-finger Invisalign on David's ass. Then he put that chrome on David chinny chin chin. Your shit got real for David ass. And they have that same come to Jesus meeting with him as Rock did Uncle Irwin. David tell him Terry scared to death to do business with him. You know, but now he got the memo. He gonna talk to Terry, get that shit off the loading docks and into them spots. Rock tell him they better, or else it's gonna be a lot of slow singing and flower bringing in their immediate circle, you know. Around if you want. This whole high up. They start to piece up out of there. Rock give Marvin a little input on how much to lean on Terry when he find him. You know, tells him leave some teeth in his mouth, you know. We need to have his ass audible. Marvin seemed to get the message, and they piece up out of there. At some point, Marvin paid that visit to Terry, and they get a little verbal tennis match going back and forth, you know, because Terry ain't feeling this arrangement no more. And ain't afraid to tell Marvin how he feel about it. Marvin like, don't walk away from us, Terry. Terry like, you right. I want to run away. He like, I want to run away from y'all asses. Marvin like, nah, little player. You can run, but you can't hide. Terry tell Marvin to go ahead and show the little blackmail picture to his wife, you know. Show the little blackmail shit. You know, the pictures Marvin took when he set Terry ass up in that hotel room. He like, she getting on my damn nerves anyway. He don't give a damn about whatever little shit they got over his head. Ain't trying to end up like Sonny and Richard's ass. Tells Marvin keep f***ing with him. He gonna spill the beans, you know, the rice, the platanos, fried chicken. All that shit gonna hit the floor. Terry get on that pre-snitch. All of a sudden, the ominous music start playing, you know. Cause Terry wading in a bayou of Nolan's hungriest gators right now, you know. Terry ass tiptoeing on the edge of disaster, on the verge of pushing Marvin easy button. Old boy Terry was on one tonight, mealy-mouthed as a mofo. Couldn't see Marvin's ambition as a rider, you know. I won't deny it, I'm a straight rider. You don't want to f with me. Got the police busting at me. Couldn't see the devil was on his doorstep. But there he was. Live and direct, in all his evil glory. Eventually, Terry Mouth wrote the check. His ass had the cash. Marvin bust 3 large in Terry's ass like, blow, blow, blow. So much for having some touch and finesse with the situation, you know. Laid his ass out like he did old player Braxton in the pool hall after he got downright disrespectful of what Marvin was trying to do, not respecting his authority, you know. Ain't nobody got time for the goddamn disrespect. Fuck is going on here? Mom's got cancer in her breast. Don't ask him why he motherfucking stressed. He ready to die. Y'all don't hear me though. Be happening. And after he blew Terry frail ass little body into a pallet of soy sauce packs and shit, Marvin came up on him, put 3 more in his chest for good measure. Blah, blah, blah. On some Terry. Hold up, y'all. I gotta freshen this drink up. 1 sec.
Yeah. One time for the mind. All you fake rappers about to catch it. Yeah. Throw your hands in the sky. This is the part where everybody gets.
Rock head down to see QUAN at the QUAN Happy Gambling and Bootleg Casino Extravaganza. And they get into a little spat, you know, 'cause shit's starting to go a little south for QUAN, Rock, and their businesses and their business relationship. Businesses he connected with getting hit, his family getting put down as part of that, and the streets was still gray. No blood spilled, no vengeance had, no reputation repair attempts been made. He feeling like his name looking like he's soft in them streets, which got him missing Unique and his brand. Got him looking at Rock as a bad option in his stead. Came off looking a little sensitive though, you know. And Rock called him on it. QUAN was expecting Rock to take that price increase, and she didn't. Mofo QUAN was getting on Rock's last good nerve. She told him he was on that bitch shit. He responds with more bitch shit. In kind. Tells her he met Kanan, you know. Says he hopes she raise kids better than she sell drugs. Mofo what? You need a man with sensitivity. A man like me. QUAN was on that Ralph Tresvant, you know. That sensitive brother type shit. They exchange a couple of yous. He tells her their business is done. She peace up out of there. Realizes she need to get a rap with her feast ASAP. And she gets that her feast rap. Her feast like, hey, I told you. I was gonna call you, you know. But she recalled the way he left their prior conversation. Didn't seem too keen on Rock, you know. Told her ass he usually moved with the thoughtful, prudent mofos. She knew his ass wasn't gonna be calling no time soon. I mean, stare downs have lasted longer than that damn first meeting. Told him she ain't that sit at home and wait on your call type, you know. Said she need to know if he on board or not. Ain't got no time for him to be pondering, you know. Is you is or is you ain't my baby? And he tells her his concerns, you know. He concerned about territorial issues in Queens. That's usually bad for business. Wants some reassurances from her partners that everybody on board here, you know. She tells him she'll set up the meeting. She pieces up out of there, gets home, gets accosted by PERNESSA, who don't like large wads of kizash in her mailbox apparently, you know. Thought Rock was hitting her off with that pity cash for popping unique. Said she ain't want nothing to do with that money or the strings attached to it, you know. Rock hit her with that shaggy. Tells her it wasn't me. Left P pondering who her benefactor was. Out in that cold, cold street. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Kanan and OC get a rap. OC still playing like he don't know who hit they spot. Ask Kanan what's up with him skimming off the top. Kanan tell him to pass the Heineken and mind his business. He piece up out of there, eventually heads down to his locker, you know, his little storage unit. Dumps off some cash. Meanwhile, Juke catches up with a distraught but relieved Mara. She tells Juke about what happened, you know, to her husband and all. Juke getting an Oscar for her supporting role in a nighttime drama. Acting like she don't know what the f Mara talking about. Mara asked Juke if she had something to do with it, you know, her husband getting put down. 'Cause Juke did ask for his address. And shortly after, Aaron ass was pushing up daisies. But after all the hard questions are asked and out the way, Mara tells Juke she hadn't slept better in ages. Threw pennies in the wishing well and all of that for his ass to get got. And now here she is, feeling a brand new day. Feeling like one of the crows in the whiz. Like she could take that mask off now, you know. That hot, sweaty ass mask she had to wear as long as she was under the witch's watch. But ding dong, the witch is dead. Can get her proper pimp Mac on these ladies now. Without having to watch her back for Aaron's hating ass, you know, him being the hater of her husband he was. Juke like that's the attitude. Feeling good about the fact that she could help out. She piece up out of there, catches up with Pops at home. And they get a little rap about what happened. You know, at least Marvin trying to. He worried about Juke feeling ramifications later. You know, about putting somebody down. Putting Aaron down. She ain't feeling nothing but elation. Tells him that ain't got nothing to do with the army either. Back on the lighter side of things. Lou and Imani out looking at spots, looking for new talent. They was all over the place too. They was in indie clubs, talent shows. Hell, they was even up in somebody's mama's house listening to cats rap. They catch up the next day about the acts they saw. She like, I made a connect. Somebody I went to school with at Brown might be able to help with one of the acts they saw, you know. She like, I also went to school at RISD, Rhode Island School of Design. She like, what school you go to? He like, I'm glad you asked. Shit, I went to RISD too. Rikers Island School of Drama, School of Hard Knocks. And that little comment hit a little harder than Lou expected. Sent Imani insides on a little tailspin of sorts, you know. Got her knickers in a little twist. Found it hard to sit still after that, you know. Invited Lou out for drinks and all of that. Like, let's kick this thing up a notch. You know, she was a little turned on. But he turned the drink down, you know, 'cause he trying to stay dry. Then she invited him over for some ass. Straight no chaser. He feeling that. Just then he gets a beep about his mom's. On the beeper, the pager. Motorola two-way page me. He pieced up out of there, had to take a rain check. At some point after making a brief visit to the hospital, makes his way over to Imani's spot, And yes, ass was on the menu. Mofos was hungry too. He even had a second helping. Imani told Lou she was going to need him to run that shit back. But looked like Imani was interested in a little more than some body rockin' knocking the boots, I'm so addicted. I'm so addicted. Asked about him being with famous sister Jess and whether that was over or not, And they get a little rap on that. No major drama. Looked like Imani wanted that high five. That good quality time, So when my pager goes off, I'll spend quality time with you. Lou looked like he was in on whatever she was in on, Imani had them good slow jams on in the background, Looked like a good night was had by all. Not bad for a little co-worker on co-worker action. Let's hope that holds up back in the office though, So we haven't really talked much about Unique in this episode. So when he ain't putting thick envelopes of cash in PERNESSA mom's mailbox, he on that hunt continually, looking for ways to take down Rock, piece by piece, associate by associate. Finds his way over to Phil Russo's spot out in Jersey, looking to get some backing on his takedown of Rock and the Thomas family. Well, Russo not really feeling Unique. Told him Sal wasn't really feeling him either at the time of his death. Wondering why he shouldn't put 2 slugs in Unique head, his damn self. He tell Russo Rock responsible for that death and tried to take him out. Told him of his plans for Rock, asked if he wanted in on the action. Russo tells him he ain't heard nothing about what he talking about as far as Rock go, and that it ain't really none of his business. Don't really affect his pockets, his income stream, Can't with him right now. 'Cause Unique a little hot-headed at the moment, he all over the place with his emotions and shit, Ain't looking like a mofo they want to go to war with or over. Don't see no benefit in that. Like, your beef is not my beef. Russo tells Unique to get his shit right, then come back and talk. A salty Unique pieces up out of there. Runs up on little OC later that night. Had OC up in the whip. Hit him with that Mary J. Asked him what's the 411 on Kanan Stark, little player. A shook OC get to snitching. Tells him about Rock beef with QUAN, about Kanan skimming off the top from his mom's. OC got that nervous tick that come out, whenever he get a little uneasy. He start talking about he got hay fever or his sinuses is acting up, Starts to feel a little uneasy in that car with Unique. Asked Unique if he had some Kleenex. Said he had that hay fever. Then he said, wait, it's not the pollen, it's mold. Like, mofo, what? Unique ain't trying to hear shit OC talking about. Ask about a goddamn tissue again. I will blow your pint-sized ass to smithereens. Then he tells OC to beat it like MJ. And he makes his way over to QUAN's happy gambling and underground dope spot casino extravaganza. QUAN looked happy to see Unique, actually, like not a moment too soon. At some point in this story, this episode, this random kid runs up in a bodega. Some random knucklehead goes over to the 40-ounce section. Them 40 ounces was looking real suspect. Trust me. Trust me. But they did have the 40 and the 42-ounce option of that OE though. Says a lot about your local liquor establishment if they got the 40 and the 42-ounce options of OE in at the same damn time. Y'all don't know what the I'm talking about. And I don't have time to explain, but I do digress like a mofo. This kid steals one of the bootleg 40s, pieces up out that joint, but not without the bodega owner giving chase. Like this little player ain't have $2 for the 40. Like how the you gonna steal a 40 in a light-ass little hipster jacket? That must have been a vintage 40 ounce or some shit. The kind you can't find no more. A collector's item of sorts, like that private stock. That motherfucker must have been hella expensive. Cause Lil Player stole it. And the goddamn bodega owner chased him for it. 6 blocks. For a $2.40. He left the bodega unattended and all of that. Mofos was taking chips and candy and shit. Little homie run up in a building with some homeless cats outside of it, Like these cats was looking like movie hobos, with the canister of fire and shit, the fingerless gloves rubbing their hands over top of some fire. Bodega owner follows the little thieving player up in the hobo spot. Somebody was living up in that piece, because it was looking like Lulu crib. It was looking like Lulu crib when he came home from the Shady Acres. There was a couch. Food and drink was all over the goddamn floor. Food wrappers and shit. Drink cans was tipped over. And a mattress with Famous's dirty arm sticking out from underneath. How we know it was Famous? Because after all the hoopla with the stolen 40, cops come to the scene, either advised by the bodega owner or the little player or both, who both found the body, which was later confirmed at the morgue by a saddened Olga, Famous's mom. Streets needed a body, and they got one.